Devo cominciare io tanto, no?
Buonasera a tutti, chiediamo gentilmente.
Good evening. Again, please take a seat so that we may begin this event on the promotion of Italian export across the world, and we have the schedule of trade fairs for 2026 for the Italian systems. I now leave the floor to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Antonio Tajani, for the opening remarks. Thank you. Good afternoon. My greetings to Mr. Zoppas of the Italian Trade Agency, Mr. Danese, Mr. Napoleone, or Chair of Italian Exhibition, Mr. Bozzetti, Chair of Fondazione Fiera Milano, is connected remotely, and we have members from the major Italian trade fairs, Siemens and Sace. As you know, export for Italy is a pivotal economic sector. Accounts for some 40% of GDP, so we must do all we can to achieve the goals we have set, namely 700 billion euros by the end of 2027, the overall turnover. For the first time, we want to present the major trade fair events that can further boost our export. Teamwork is indeed what can help us achieve the best results. That is why I have involved Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, Siemens, Sace, who will tell us more about their actions for 2026. Before talking about what we can do, there's something we must start doing straight away. I'm thinking of Sicily, Sardinia, and Calabria, the current situation there. I called the three regional governors, Schifani, Occhiuto, and Todde. These are the three regions that have been very struck by the harsh weather conditions, and the cabinet yesterday approved a decree that declares regional emergency there, and we have set up all the tools needed to provide support and economic growth. There will be a meeting with all the regional relevant councillors in the three regions in order to define the next steps to be taken. That's exactly, by the way, what we did when the Emilia-Romagna region and Tuscany were flooded, and we will do the exact same thing here. All the enterprises, all the businesses that have been affected by the floods will have the support of Siemens and Sace. I thank Mr. Zoppas of the Italian Trade Agency for being available, and we are already organizing some meetings on the site with the businesses in order to ensure a direct liaising with all the businesses and companies that are the backbone of our entrepreneurial system. If we want to talk about export, we must take into account the current situation. We have the figures from January to November from the National Bureau of Statistics, which are positive. We're up 3.3%, both in the EU area and outside the EU, which shows a 2.1% increase. So we consider the international context. We can truly be satisfied. We have sealed a deal with Mercosur and India, and this allows us to be optimistic when looking to the future. All across the world, in the EU and France, there is more and more talk about our export model supported by our SMEs. We are the fourth exporters in the world, and we must do all we can to set up a proper system, a proper network with all we have. That is why the reform of the Foreign Affairs Ministry has brought about the institution, starting from the 1st of January of this year, of a new general directorate that can draft the action plan for exportation. We have been working on this over the past years, and the results are very positive. It's up 8% towards the US, plus 7.6 to India, and plus 8%, up 8% towards the Middle East. We have organized a number of initiatives. We have more CMS, Italian Trade Agency, and SACE offices around the world, and all our my missions have aimed to boost the presence of our enterprises, both in terms of internationalization and export. There has also been some sort of revolution in our diplomatic system, because today all the embassies have become launch pads for Italian businesses. The goal is to constantly support all Italian businessmen and entrepreneurs abroad. They are never left alone. We are also preparing a number of major events in the very first months of the year. The agenda is very thick. We have some important business forums in Shanghai and Miami in March. In Trieste, I will be at an event that is about the private sector, where there are several stages that lead to Expo 2026 that will involve all the enterprises, all the ambassadors from northern to southern Italy, and the Olympics too will be a great, will showcase the Italian system. So we can truly achieve some very positive results. And the trade fair system is an integrating part of the overall system. The support we want to provide will be a priority in 2026 as well. A very important year lies ahead. There is the fair of furnishings of furniture in Riyadh that's coming up, and we have organized a preliminary furniture fair, and that was a success. There were several ministers who attended it. So from this standpoint, I can say that Italian furniture, Italian woodwork has truly achieved a very important goal. I'm thinking of Vinitaly in the US, other events in October, all high-profile events. The ministry, the whole system will do their very best to provide the due support. We want to become importers and exporters in Italy and abroad, so trade fairs are a crucial tool. We will try to involve as many companies as possible through a network of information that allows the trade fair system to increase its customers, because we do believe that trade fairs are the best possible tool to showcase our know-how, our savoir-faire, involving small and medium enterprises to be supported politically and economically, and helping them go international in terms of exports. So thank you very much. We are kicking off today, and I believe we will be very successful. I trust we will achieve good results there. There's great harmony between exporting companies and the ministry. We're also working with the chambers of commerce. So everything is being included in this system, and the goal is to allow our companies to work more and better for the well-being of our citizens. The number of employed people has gone up. Unfortunately, wages are still a bit low for some. Things could be better, and we want to allow our entrepreneurs to increase the wages of the workers. And I wish you all a fruitful session. Thank you, Minister Tajani. I now ask Matteo Zoppas, Chairman of the Italian Trade Agency, to take the floor. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Tajani. I greet everyone in attendance, all the authorities in attendance, and all the people with whom we work on a daily basis, which are here today. I have to say one thing, firstly, which is important. I come from the world of enterprises. The very first meeting that was held with Minister Tajani is something I can remember very well. We talked about trade fairs right after COVID, before COVID, actually, when they were very much being questioned. Then COVID came along, and we truly realized how important trade fairs are. And I remember on that occasion, someone said, well, are we really talking about trade fairs? And I, as a businessman, said, well, there are some small and medium enterprises that owe a lot to trade fairs, up to 80% of their yearly turnover. And that concept was very clear already back then. And it further consolidated the idea that trade fairs are a very important moment. They are a key moment, as has just been said, because the entrepreneur has the possibility of showcasing his own product properly. And we decided to focus a lot on trade fairs. Consequently, then, as a businessman myself, I took up this role, and I further realized something. I truly realized that the national system does a lot for enterprises through the channel of trade fairs. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people in charge of export and companies attend these trade fairs, perhaps not knowing that importers, distributors who come to these trade fairs are very useful for the whole Italian system. So it is important to have a control room that liaises with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, which can ensure that diplomacy of growth, which is something greatly cherished by Minister Tajani, in order to exploit the promotion of Made in Italy products on the one hand and the development of Made in Italy on the other. So promotion, marketing of a product made in Italy is one thing, and then we have the trade and business development of the enterprise, and that involves the customer meeting the producer. So organizing a trade fair in a venue where buyers, not from that venue, but from that region, from all over the world come, and I see here trade fair representatives that are nodding because there are hundreds of buyers who come to trade fairs to meet our producers. And these buyers still don't tell us that the Italian Trade Agency organized everything, organized their transfer, the trip, their stay, in order to promote the product. So the gist of what the Italian Trade Agency does for trade fairs can be summed up in what I'm about to say. The number of national pavilions abroad. We bring operators to Italy, but we also bring Italian enterprises abroad, working together with other stakeholders, organizing cooperation works. We had a whole lot of national pavilions that gathered over 6,560 Italian enterprises. So 245 pavilions and 6,560 enterprises. If each one of these enterprises meets of 20, 30 customers, then you can realize how much they can promote their product. This is a great asset for Italian companies. If we look at the incoming, element. In Italy, there are 125 incomings at major Italian trade fairs, not mentioning all the promotion and marketing activities where we organize the description of made in Italy products through advertising and promotion, which is all very effective. These 125 incomings, these groups of buyers who come, go with, and I'm talking about 2025, something we already did, these went with 11,500 operators. So we brought 11,500 operators from abroad to Italy who met with our entrepreneurs. So clearly, if we are at a trade fair where the major player of that category is present and he meets a buyer, the buyer then usually goes there and no help is needed. We bring these buyers, especially for the small and medium enterprises. I remember may I remind you that the Italian industrial fabric consists 95% by the small and medium enterprises. The large companies we have today used to be small enterprises, and they were all helped by a national system that truly gave an important contribution. So what do we want to do? Thanks to Minister Tajani, we will have some extra resources, so these activities we are already performing will grow further. We have heard the categories of entrepreneurs, the businesses, the trade events, and in 2026, this is to be confirmed, but basically this can be seen in we will soar from 245 pavilions to 350 pavilions abroad. So from 6,500 entrepreneurs who go abroad to 8,000 businesses. This is the outlook to be confirmed, but that's the general trend. In Italy, the incomings, which are now 125, will soar to 150. This, again, is an estimate. And again, operators will grow from 11,500 to roughly 13,500. Something else we want to do. Now, it's good to make customers and producers meet, but they've got to like each other. So if they are pre-selected, then their meeting is more likely to be successful. I can allocate some resources to bring together some people, but if I know they won't like each other, I will avoid it. And we're already working on this pre-selection through the several trade fairs. We are fielding some tools that can maximize the effectiveness and the efficiency of this meeting, the so-called business matching. And this is a message to trade fairs, not to Italy. I know you're very good, but this is important when it comes to the internationalization of our companies. So perhaps we have succeeded in bringing abroad our enterprises in the Mercosur. That is very topical. That is to say that we must help companies and trade fairs that are solid in Italy and are somehow saturated. No, they have reached a certain level. So we must organize some boutiques to showcase our products abroad through a few Italian entrepreneurs, which can meet a whole lot of local buyers that perhaps do not come to Italy. So I thank once again the Minister for the support he has given us with by organizing Vinitaly, the wine trade fair in Chicago, where I keep on meeting entrepreneurs who thank me because this client from this area is someone I met at Vinitaly Chicago. So this is something that can go for all other trade fairs too. Spin-offs, organizing spin-offs abroad to find more demand, new demand, are definitely worth the while. I will not add anything else. Again, I would like to thank all the operators, all the trade fair operators for their professional approach, for their entrepreneurial spirit, and I thank our national system, SACE, SIMEST, Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, and the ministerial network that is giving due value to exportation. 623, 622 according to ISTA, but this accounts for more than 1/3 of GDP. So if we can give a hand, if you help us give a hand to exportation and make it grow, this will definitely be beneficial to economic growth, and there will be a whole lot of positive repercussions. I thank the government.
Thank you to President Zappa. And now we have the pleasure to listen to another presentation from the various associations of the trade fair systems. So I will now give the floor to Maurizio Danese, President of AEFI, Association of Trade Fairs and Exhibitions. I would like to thank the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister Tajani for the organization of today's event. This testifies to the importance that we attach to the trade fair system, which is fundamental for Made in Italy and for enhancing export. Let me also thank the President of the Italian Trade Agency, Matteo Zoppas, who is a fundamental partner in our activities in this field. Let me also welcome all the ambassadors who are connected here today, because they play a fundamental role. Zoppas was mentioning a while ago the COVID time, when at the time the trade fairs were at risk. And I remember working very hard with the Italian government at the time. It was really very intense, but this really was very helpful to come to the rescue to the trade fairs. But this made the government aware of the importance of trade fairs for our system. So SMEs do play a very important role within this context. Trade fair is just like a major company. It can bring along with us all the SMEs as large companies do. So our role is extremely important if we want to help out SMEs. The positive side of COVID is that it made us become aware of this importance and become aware about the importance of using appropriate instruments. So the in-presence attendance on the occasion of these trade fairs is what really makes a difference. The Italian industry is a fundamental asset for the growth of export. This is one of the major features of our country. We want to promote new policies to give further opportunities to SMEs. The jewel in the crown of our Italian production system and all the activities in the markets abroad. Given the present geopolitical context, trade fairs and major international events play a fundamental role which goes beyond their commercial nature. They are a place of dialogue, of new opportunities. As shown in the first white paper of the Italian trade fair system published by IFE and Prometea, the ecosystem of trade fairs is an important hub for institutional economic relations. Trade fairs and Italian businesses have always been together in the same reality, because 60% of Italian export are generated by enterprises which are mostly represented in the trade fair system: technology, beauty, furniture, design, and all of these sectors are very important also when it comes to Italian export in non-EU markets. The Italian trade fair system is fully integrated in this new framework of development of a business. And this, we have identified specific markets to be aimed at. So today, IFE, ITEX represent an opportunity for leveraging on all the market opportunities around the globe. And we here have a huge potential. We are a very important trade fair system with over 4 million square meters of exhibition. In 2026, we have 878 events which are scheduled, of which 276 will be international trade fairs. The food, beverages, and hospitality represents 12%, 11% textile, fashion, sports, and entertainment. And technology, 9%, agriculture, 8%, jewels, 7%. So these percentages show to what extent in Italy trade fairs in the 5 key export markets have been identified. With regards to the territorial coverage of international trade fairs, Lombardy ranks first, Emilia-Romagna, Veneto, Campania, and Tuscany, 23%. So the goal of our association is to internationalize the trade fair system. Based on a recent service, trade fairs, even though it represents an important growth engine for Italian businesses, are underrepresented abroad. Indeed, the Italian businesses only focus on less than 10% of their turnover abroad, whereas we want to bridge here the gap between our sector and the sector in other countries. And let me also say that the Italian Trades Agency strongly supports the Italian production system, was chairing the Verona Fieri Association. And
è la cricca tra vendite, sì. Ma quello che è stato fatto su Chicago all'inizio...
We have organized one important event in Chicago and recently another one in New York, and other events will follow up in the future. And this will very much help us in bridging the gap vis-à-vis our international competitors. I must say, and we already talked about this with the minister a while ago in Verona, a recent survey has been carried out, and this survey shows that if the Italian trade fair systems would focus on made in Italy points of excellence to be promoted abroad, this would be a very successful policy. We firmly believe in our policy, and we think that made in Italy is a very important message which has a very strong image abroad. And so if we join forces together, I think that we can attain major objectives. Working as a team, embassies as a launchpad, businesses, and joining together all these forces. These are the key points that have been mentioned by the minister, and this is what we should all be doing together. Thank you.
Grazie a Maurizio Danese. Diamo ora la parola a Raffaello Napoleone.
Thank you. We now leave the floor to Raffaello Napoleone, President of ITEX. Thank you, Minister, for hosting us today. It's great to be here. We thank Matteo Zoppas, a real globetrotter like. There are not many like him around the world. He will be in Dubai tomorrow, and he is an ambassador. He's not a diplomat, but he's definitely a top-notch ambassador, and we thank him a lot. So there are a few things we hadn't talked about before this presentation, but you know that IEFI and ITEX cooperate now much more following the agreement. I don't know if there will be a merger, some sort of merger. This will help us achieve the ministry's goal as well, quicker, in a quicker way, sooner. So the minister also invited us to Villa Madama to present this action plan, which was updated in December 2025, by the way. I still have the old ones. So this means you are putting great passion in your work, and this is something we very much appreciate. This is not just to be flattering. It's something that the operators in the trade fair sector truly perceive. It was thought to be not achievable, but it's very, very useful in this market situation because it touches on all the sectors. So the trade fair systems we represent is truly fundamental for SMEs, and it touches on some key elements where we can truly achieve some positive results. So our associates, the members that want to be reassured, that want to be certain when it comes to the actions to be taken, talking about incoming, Italian trade agency, promotion events in Italy and abroad. We can truly work a lot on events abroad, not only trade fairs. I think it's sometimes worthwhile looking at what our competitors do. We have some great venues across the world, so it's not just about trade fairs. There's more that can be done from a strategic standpoint. We have assets that other countries are lacking and that can truly be showcased. And we can consider projects that go beyond, that transcend the sector of trade fairs. We can truly stake on the uniqueness of our country. And I work a lot with PT Immagine, for example, and it's not easy sometimes to plan events every 2 years. Every 2 years. It is useful. It would be useful to know how many resources will be allocated, what kind of resources we will have if we want to plan ahead. Perhaps it's worthwhile working on this. It's something we definitely need. Something else that is important, practically speaking, is visas. We sometimes work in markets, and the Foreign Affairs Ministry plays a crucial role in this. Sometimes we realize that some buyers are stuck and they cannot come here without your help. It might seem something that can be overlooked, but it's not. Our country is very swift in responding to certain needs. In the past, we have seen the possibility of investing through public funds and through our support in new technologies and services. The minister mentioned this in his opening remark, and that's something that's going on today. And let me talk about artificial intelligence. There's been a lot of talk about this, and this will bring about great change. We definitely must invest in AI if we want to be at the forefront in the useful use of these new technologies. So thank you for how you are putting to good use embassies. They too play a pivotal role. And let's keep all our measures high-profile measures, as well as our speeches. I will mention 3 words, the 3 key words, which I believe are the most important. Competition, must compete with the rest of the world. Attraction, we must draw operators, foreign operators to Italy. Sometimes we're not able to bring Italian enterprises abroad in the same way. We need solid roots here in Italy. I'm firmly convinced of this. And we must innovate. That's the third thing. We must be able to innovate. So let us strengthen our trade fair system, our economic diplomacies, and our representation networks across the world. So this is something I copied, I don't remember when. We must make trade fairs hubs for economic cooperation, for technological cooperation that can boost the image of our country. Thank you, Mr. Minister, and I thank all the stakeholders, the officials, the ambassadors, the directors general, and everyone.
And now we give the floor to Giovanni Bozzetti, President of Fondazione Fiera Milano.
Buon pomeriggio a tutti voi, innanzitutto.
Good afternoon. First of all, apologies for not making it at the Rome conference, but today Milan was a historic day because we had the ceremony of the new hub center of RAI in Milano, which is to open its building here in Milan. So this is going to be an amazing production center, and we've been working until very late at night, so I couldn't make it in Rome today. So thank you to Tajani, and thank you for his constant focus on the Italian trade fair system and Italian businesses. For many years as a businessman, when traveling abroad, I used to look with a certain jealousy the US, French, and UK embassies. They were supporting the activities of the businesses. So I think that this new course launched by the Italian Foreign Affairs Ministry is absolutely right. I would like also to thank Zopas for the constant support, for their constant support. Internationalization is not one of the many strategic options, but it's a prerequisite for the competition of Italian businesses abroad, as Danese just said. As Tajani just said, we are going through difficult times from the geopolitical and technological standpoint. Let me also add that trade fairs could also be a response to this, because not only are they venues of economic transitions, but they also are strategic infrastructures which are serving the interests of the country. They are also diplomatic venues because they facilitate the dialogue between cultures from around the world, and they allow for new bridges to be built and not barriers. They are hubs of the Made in Italy, and they are areas where the human relationship is leveraged upon. Trade fairs, as you rightly said, cannot disappear because human relations are extremely important when it comes to developing business opportunities. So trade fairs are an opportunity where human relations can be tapped into, and this is an area where you can get to know Italy. So what needs to be done is the following. First of all, we have to integrate the trade fair system with the local territory, because if we can reach out to our local trade fair organizers and visitors, if we can tell them that once they will be free to move within these trade fair systems, they can really benefit from the amazing cultural offerings that we can come up with, the cuisine. So if we can actually come up with all these offerings and also with in cooperation with the train sector and all the other transport sectors, then we can facilitate the incoming of international buyers and increased number of visitors and business operators and businessmen. We also have to multiply international agreements, and I would like to thank Zopas for what he said in his presentation when he made reference to this opportunity. And yesterday we have undersigned an important agreement between ITAIX and AIP. This was my first objective when I took office, because regrettably Fondazione Fiera in previous years had come up with an association of trade fairs, and finally we had two different associations of trade fairs. So when I took office, my goal was to merge merge these two different associations into one. So Raffaello, Napoleone, and Maurizio Danese have been very helpful in helping me attain this objective, and so we will are on the right track for this merging of the two associations into one, because we have to do away with any parochial attitude, and we have to develop synergies. So this is an agreement which has an amazing strategic relevance for our country. Also because businesses are not only exporting a product, they're also exporting a part of our country. Let me conclude by adding a fourth word. Raffaello, you were talking about to compete, to attract, to innovate. I would like to add another word, and that is to love. What do I mean by this? To love more our country, to love more our businesses, to love more the typical way in which Italians can give origin or create products which are typical of the elegance, of the style, which come from technology and innovation, which are so much loved around the world. And I think we also have to tap into the pride of our activities when it comes to trade fairs to enhance the value of our country and to be proud in bearing the flag of Made in Italy. I think that if we stand united, the Italian trade fair system can flourish, and we can increase our turnover and be even better, and we can compete with our German friends, with other countries, and we can maybe overcome even the level of our good friends of Germany when it comes to the trade fair system. Thank you.
Sul palco di intervenire alcuni rappresentanti del comparto fieristico che illustreranno degli
We will now have members from the trade fair sector who will give us some examples, starting with Roberto Foresti, Deputy Director General, Fiera Milano. Thank you. Good morning. And I thank the Minister and the network of ambassadors that allows us to perform all our activities abroad. I thank Mr. Zoppas and his team for the support they give us in terms of incoming and buyers and in terms of support to our activities abroad. I will mention just a few cases. This year we organized events in target countries. We mentioned them before. We had one in December 2025 in Arabia, that is in Arabia. That's about hospitality. And starting from next year, there will be a similar event in the United States. We have an activity concerning furnishing and furniture in Singapore, and then we will further expand this sector through other events in the Asian region. Contemporary art, modern art is another sector where we are exporting, and we have a fair that will be held in Cape Town. These are just some of the examples we're doing because Fiera Milano is now organizes some 40 events abroad in all the major countries, in Asia, in the United States, in Brazil, in China, you name it. There's a phenomenon I particularly would like to stress. Trade fairs are changing, so the models we have experienced so far are models that will be vanishing in a few years' time. They will be changing a lot. Trade fairs are not just not an opportunity for demand and supply to meet. They must be organized differently. New contents are required. Our organization is changing too. One of the things we did is this. We created a group that could create contents, even using artificial intelligence. We're doing this in trade fairs in Italy and abroad. Something else that is important is talking to giants that are 10 times our size. We must face international realities whose turnover is 3 or 4 billion euros as trade fair associations. So our enterprises play in the field of others, and this cannot happen. So we need to create a model for exporting events that is very different compared to the model we have adopted so far. So a model that has greater synergies and that can truly embrace trade fairs in a more horizontal way. Otherwise, if we don't do this, we will always be playing away. And when we play away, the support, the fan base belongs to the hosts. We will always be guests. So this is what we must do in the future to support our trade fair systems. We need more synergy. We must all take a step back. We must all take a step back if we are to take altogether a step forward. This is what we must do in the future. If we remain alone, unfortunately, we will hand over our companies to other countries, other stakeholders. This must change, and we need the help of institutions, and we need to change our mindset as well.
Molte grazie. Chiamiamo ora il dottor Rossano Bozzi, direttore.
Thank you. And now we give the floor to Bozzi, who is the Director General of the Development Unit for Bologna Fiera. Good evening, Minister. Good evening, Mr. Zoppas. Good evening to the diplomatic corps here today, attending the conference here today. I will be very brief. I just would like to stress some things which have already been said and other things which specifically apply to Bologna area. We represent a medium-sized company. Our turnover this year would be approximately 300 million euros. We fall within the system of the SMEs that was referred to a while ago. Being part of the Italian productive system, we want to give our contribution to the Italian trade fair system, and we try to do this both with regards to events in Italy and abroad, and with regards to the companies that we represent. I would like to make two examples. Cosmoprof, the Cosmoprof platform, so cosmetics and Marca. So Cosmoprof. With Cosmoprof, I would like to say that we here have a successful model which is the example of a system to be exported abroad. We are talking about 3,000 pavilions, and we have 680 participants. And in Bologna, we have 54%, more than 0.5% of our visitors come from abroad, which stands for a huge value, both in terms of the knock-on effect, but also in terms of the local value, because what we would try to do before and after the exhibition through appropriate activities and initiatives, we try to have a knock-on effect in terms of value in the surrounding area. So Cosmoprof is not only Bologna. Cosmoprof operates also in other areas of cosmetics, Northern America and Asia. Over the years, we have developed a platform which we would like to set up as an example for other companies. In Asia, Hong Kong, we have 600 exhibitions with a very large number of participants. In Bangkok, Thailand, we have 24 exhibitions, and in Northern America, Miami, and Las Vegas, East and West Coast, we have around approximately 100 pavilions. So, as Zoppas was just saying, in terms of so-called outgoing tourism activities. We represent a specific sector which we're trying to tap into. Marca, as I said, this is a second example. In Europe, we're just a competitor based in Amsterdam and another one coming from another country. So we have over 1,300 exhibitors, of which the great majorities are Italian. And this is very important because what we're doing here, we are pulling together the cooperation between the baker sector and the Italian operators. So this is a system which has joined the forces of the industry and the retailers together. So and this gives us an opportunity to approach the foreign markets. So we have entered China in Guangzhou, September, and another initiative because we started last year in Poznan. So let me close by saying, first of all, heartfelt thanks to all the organizers. Markets here today are extremely volatile. The competitiveness of export is based on the ability to use the proper instruments at the right timing. Bologna Fiera, but I think that this applies to all other operators in this sector, stand by the Italian government to standing ready to translate all opportunities in something really tangible. Thank you all and see you all at our trade fairs.
Grazie. Dottor Marco Sabetta, direttore generale del Salone del Mobile. Prego, alla parola.
Thank you, and over to Marco Sabetta, Director General of Salone del Mobile Furniture Trade Fair. Good afternoon. I would like to thank the Minister, Chairperson Zoppas, the Ambassador, and all those in attendance for giving me this opportunity. Just a couple of words on the Salone del Mobile Furniture Trade Fair from the 1st to 26th of April. We are preparing the event. A couple of figures concerning 2025. Over 2,100 exhibitors from 27 countries in the world, over 300,000 visitors coming from 160 countries, so from all across the world. They regularly come to visit the furniture fair, and some 280 million in terms of urban economic impact during the week of the Salone del Mobile Furniture Fair. This is a study we have conducted with the Polytechnic in Milan, which analyzed all the factors that contribute to increasing the value of businesses and economic activities during the very week of the Salone del Mobile Furniture Fair. 68% of the more than 300,000 operators come from abroad. That's a very relevant figure. We have increased the number of students. One of our problems is to make sure that the new generations, the younger generations, may attend and take part in these trade fairs and these exhibitions. So developing an interest in the products and new technologies and new materials, so that this may help them realize the passion that companies put in the production. Over 1.3 million interactions in terms of matchmaking during those 6 days. So a lot of activities going on. Even thanks to the very important help coming from the Italian Trade Agency, from the Ministry, from incoming tourism, which, thanks to the Italian Trade Agency, comes to the Salone del Mobile. tourists and operators from a whole lot of different countries that are very important for our companies. We're thinking about new systems to promote, to accompany, not only through trade fairs, our actions abroad. Again, thanks to the resources, the funding, the help of the Italian Trade Agency, of consular offices, culture consular offices around the world, we took part with a permanent satellite link. We took part in the Hong Kong and Osaka fairs. We have set up a trade fair with a whole lot of Italian companies during the Art Week in Shanghai in 2024. We had a forum with Chinese and Italian designers in Shanghai in 2025. And as the minister said, we began to operate in Riyadh. We kicked off an event in Riyadh as well. Extremely important because we were very much helped by the Foreign Affairs Ministry, by Minister Tajani, by the ambassador, and by the chairperson of the Italian Trade Agency. We worked on this for 3 years and we achieved a very good result. And this is preliminary to an actual trade fair that we will organize in Riyadh in late November, early December 2026, so this year. Again, this year we have involved some 40 companies, and we are honored to have Minister Tajani and 4 ministers from Saudi Arabia attending the event. Again, the matchmaking interactions were remarkable. Matchmaking activities with Saudi operators. Again, I would like to thank Chairperson Zolpas for the help he is giving us in Riyadh, but even in other countries and in Milan as well. There's a slide, I cannot find it, that shows the communication campaign of this year of the Salone del Mobile furniture show from the 21st to the 26th of April. Tomorrow in Milan, we will be holding the presentation conference. I thank Fiera Milano, which has always supported us in organizing this event in the Trade Fair District with great passion, great devotion, and I extend to you the greetings of Maria Porro, President of Salone del Mobile, Claudio Ferini of Federlegno, Luca Palermo, Managing Director of Fiera Eventi, and we all would like to welcome you to the furniture exhibition.
And now I will ask to Margherita Maineri to take the floor. Gestione Eventi Vinitali.
Buon pomeriggio a tutti.
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Minister Tajani and to Zolpas, with whom we intensely cooperate with. Verona Fieri, let me talk about Verona Fieri. Verona Fieri organizes a number of events on across the board in various sectors. And as Roberto Ferretti was saying, this shows the multidisciplinary activity because we really want to have an across-the-board attitude so that when the tourists come in, they don't only see the single item or product that we are offering, but they can see a wide range of them. Let me now talk about what Vinitaly has been doing so far. Vinitaly, for those of you who don't know Vinitaly, Vinitaly means passion for our country. Vinitaly represents 4,000 businesses, 100,000 square meters of pavilions. For those who have access to Vinitaly, both national and international operators, they can really enjoy our national landscape. And this is a 4-day event where the exhibitors meet the national and international press. 97,000 operators in the sectors participating, of which a good part come from abroad. Of this, 33%, Matteo made an important reference to Italian trade agency is very helpful on this when it comes to its role. We have come to very important figures together. The Italian Trade Agency, we select, and I would like to stress this word, select, the operators. So we really see what can really be of help to our businesses. We host 1,200 operators in this sector, in this 4-day event, and we have specific initiatives based on the type of market sector and on the type of things they want to do. So it can be, for instance, conferences on future targets as countries. So, for instance, India or the US or Africa as a future market. And all of this based on dialogue. We listen to the businesses, there's an exchange, and we really want to make it so that the investment has a return. Comes with results. And we are also focused on foreign countries. Mention was made of the USA project. Of course, we are a bit fearful. We had some discussions, I must say, but Verona Fiera, Italian Trade Agency, the agencies which have helped us in this initiative, and they believed in the Italian cuisine, and those who believed in us right from the start. We had 2 events in Chicago. The first one was challenging. The first one was, let's call it a preview. Will Maurizio still be with us? And then a real one in 2024, and then another one in 2025. And the bet here was to go a step further, in other words, a step further, and so New York on October 26 and 27. The major challenge over the last couple of years with the Italian Trade Agency has been India. But I must say that based on the results, this has been a successful strategy. We have strongly invested. We firmly believed in this with very high tariffs with regards to wine, but everything that has to do with Italian businesses, 150%, which for a wine seller is pretty much. And then so we started with a very small group of businesses this year with ICE, with the initiative that Matteo was referring to before, a group of businesses, and basing ourselves on culture, quote unquote, because otherwise you can't reach out your message. So we had operators from the sector. We came with businesses, and India has been has given very successful results. So regrettably, I have to close my presentation. Just would like to also mention Brazil. We're trying to find operators. And I don't know who already said this. The ultimate goal is to have them come to Italy, fall in love with Italy, and live all the beauties that Italy can provide them with. Thank you.
Please, let's stick to the time limit, please. We now leave the floor to Massimiliano Pierini, Director General at RIX, Italia. Thank you. Good afternoon. I too would like to thank the Ministry and the Minister for organizing this event. I thank the civilian and military authorities and everyone in attendance. I represent the RX group, the RX group that was briefly mentioned by Roberto Foresti before. We are a multinational company working in the trade fairs event, 350 events in 25 countries and involving 41 sectors, 29 offices across the world. So our role is twofold. We focus on internationalization. We help Italian enterprises take part in our 350 events across the world, and Italian trade agency support is very, very precious. It helped us a great deal. So a large part of those pavilions are organized by ourselves, indeed. And I represent Italy. We represent Italy, even in trade fairs held in Italy. I represent an excellence. Expo Comfort has been existing since 1960, one of the first to be organized by Fiera Milano, and it's about privatization, renewables, renewable energy. So it is a trade fair that is about all sanitation facilities and products. We are supported by several associations, including Assista, and here we can see the export figures of our sectors. The turnover is 15 billion in the first half year of 2025. This is a very technical trade fair that involves insiders and stakeholders, 1,800 companies, 121,000 visitors from 141 countries. So there's a strong international element here. Exhibiting companies come from 54 countries, so this showcases a great plurality of the market, focusing on several sectors. So this is something that is worth stressing. In every edition, we elect a country to be a partner. In 2026, this partner country will be Japan. It was chosen even based on the government agenda and even to further strengthen relations between Italy and Japan. And again, the support of the embassy and of the Italian Trade Agency has allowed us to complete a number of actions that hopefully will give greater visibility to Japan during the trade fair. We must also focus on incoming buyers, and over 700 B2B meetings are organized, so the matchmaking activity is definitely paramount. So there will be an event from the 24th to the 27th of March at Fiera Milano. It won't be the only one we will be organizing, but it's the next one. So we would like to have you with us. Thank you. Thank you. I now ask Mr. Corrado Peraboni, Managing Director of IEG, to take the floor.
Grazie, un saluto.
Good evening and welcome to all the participants and to those who are connected. I was asked to illustrate the internationalization process of our association. I would like to talk about the example Vicenza Ora. Vicenza Ora is a point of excellence, and we want to be of support for the development of bridges and the creation of bridges between past and present and Italy and other countries. So the first point is that the system of trade fairs has been regionalized. We have clusters, and there is less tendency to go for international travels. And so this clearly means that there is an increased difficulty for those trade fairs which are only based on Europe and which do not have an international presence. This holds particularly true in the sector of gold. We have North American example with JCK in Las Vegas, and then in Europe, and then another venue in Hong Kong, which would cover the Asian area. So this starts from what we firmly believe in Italian businesses, and this is this challenge can only be addressed if there's more than one operator. In other words, the competences of the Italian government, each and Foreign Affairs Ministry and pressure on operatives had to develop an international approach which had to be based on a long-term vision. So based on this prerequisite, we have come up with this two-pronged approach, internationalization. So Vicenza has to be turned into the international hub of the jewels. And so this is the final result of cooperation with institutional organizations, just all the visa activities, the incoming buyers, and what comes with the internationalization process of a small city such as Vicenza. And this project also had to be based on the internationalization of something else. In other words, we want to reach out to very high potential markets which could not be reached from Vicenza. So with regards to the incoming tourism, we have come up with this project. The name of this project is Progetto Prima. So in other words, having premium buyers involving Italian local businesses. So these local businesses would be more focused on Vicenza, and then be points of excellence in terms of hospitality, so offering top-level hospitalities to the incoming buyers. So this is a comprehensive project which was also supported by another strategy, let's say, internationalization, trade fairs. So we didn't want only to have to participate in other trade fair initiatives, but we also organized local trade fairs. Hence, the JGT Dubai, where our goal is to make the Italian business brand be known in other areas around the globe, so not only in Vicenza. This is an unprecedented example. We've done this together at Informa, and this was the first and last initiative where the whole thing was run by a foreign operator, whereas from now on it's always in a group where the leader is an Italian business. Now, the second step is we've done an M&A operation. So we, in the field of jewelry, we have merged with this Singapore business. And this has been done as a group. And this was a major operation because we matched the data. In other words, we see that Southeast Asia was the area of the world which had a very high potential in terms of buying gold, such as Europe, and with the penetration of Italian export, which was very low. We were under 10%. And the penetration in Vicenza was very limited because the difficulty of coming to Vicenza from southern Eastern Asia. So hence here the decision was based on market data, on analysis that we've done with the local diplomatic channels, and we also leveraged on the fact that this area was being weakened. Now, this twofold activity that we have carried out together with institutions, trade fair operators, and businesses translated into an outcome whereby over the last 4 years, the export rate of Italian jewelry sector has grown, had a double-digit growth. And we have entered new markets. So what I want to say with my presentation is that I here have a hands-on, structured, pragmatic example which shows a growth of the internationalization of the trade fair system, but especially something which increases the export share also into new foreign markets of the Italian jewelry system. Today, Vicenza, thanks also to the demise of other areas, has become the jewel in the crown of the sector. And as you can see from these figures, this is a model that has very interesting aspects to it, and as we see, based on the teamwork which is being developed with the government and the Foreign Affairs Ministry, I think that this is a model which can also be repeated in other sectors. Thank you.
Boni, chiamo Simona.
Thank you. Over to Simona Rapastella, General Manager of Federunacoma. Thank you. I too would like to thank the Minister, who unfortunately is no longer with us. I thank him, however, and I thank Chairperson Zoppas for everything he's doing for the trade fair sector. Federunacoma is the federation that in the industrial sector represents all the agricultural machinery builders, the machinery that takes care of garden, traditional machinery and digital machinery. I'm saying this because we talk the language of the sector enterprises. This is something we want to do, and this means closely following the requests, even in terms of internationalization, what the strategies should be, given that our association includes 350 enterprises, turnover is north of 16 billion, and over 90% of this is exported across the world. So the internationalization of the sector is crucial. So it is with this know-how and with this value, working with this, that we organize trade fairs such as the leading one in Bologna this year. It will be from the 10th to the 14th of November, the 47th edition. So there is aspect under which we hold an absolute record. It's in terms of European competitors, which are larger. But our real asset is our internationalization. This is our successful model. This was pointed out even by those who spoke before me. Trade fairs are fundamental because they can truly showcase the production excellences of our countries, but they are themselves an excellence. Trade fairs can represent excellence, and this is a combination that is particularly important, that must be further driven and taken in due consideration. For our sector too, trade fairs are one of the major tools for developing internationalization strategies. In terms of AIMA International and in terms of other international events in the country, this positioning on foreign markets is an integrating part of our ability to sell abroad, so placing the made in Italy product abroad. And we're talking about agricultural machineries, agricultural mechanics, tractors. So there are some benchmark markets, and we need specific expertise when we're working in this field. And this calls for a national system that is very solid. The work we perform together with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, SACE, CIMIST, is paramount, and I would truly like to thank the Italian Trade Agency for their support to the Italian trade fair sector. What happened at the EIMA 2024? We, along with another 400 economic operators that we selected together with the Italian Trade Agency, coming from a whole lot of countries, holding a whole lot of B2B meetings with the 350,000 enterprises from 150 countries. There were 64,000 economic operators that came along spontaneously. So from 64,000 from 150 countries for agricultural machinery events. That's not an easy task. We need an expertise, a paradigm. We need to be able to organize events, trade fair events in a different way. We need a strategy. We need to be far-sighted, and we must break away from what we've done over the past years. We need to do something very specific when we organize an international event. Aside from these skills, we had all these operators taking part, clearly thanks to the work we conduct together with the Italian Trade Agency, the promotion, the road show, which involves a whole lot of countries across the world. And for the EIMA edition of this year, we have already organized over 20 events in terms of press conferences, presentations, and more that will showcase EIMA. Out of these 20 events, 11 will be organized all over the world. There's another aspect. For us, the winning combination, being organizers of events, organizers of trade fairs for the benchmark sector, can give us a further boost, that of further stimulating the international institutional relations. This is something we must do, representing the entire industry that we bear. If we are able to convey this value, this prestige, the value of this important sector in trade fairs, well, clearly the international element will allow us to gain the upper hand over our competitors, and it will allow us to devise an internationalization strategy for our brands. So EIMA's internationalization has allowed us to bring our brand across the world. We have been organizing, by the way, a trade fair in India, in New Delhi, every 2 years, and we are also working in Argentina and in Africa, and we expect other activities. So let's support all our trade fair sector, not only in Italy, but let's support them in their internationalization process.
Dottoressa Rapastella, e passiamo.
Thank you to Mrs. Rapastella. We are now passing on to the final session of our today's conference. And you may have access to all these presentations on our website referring to today's conference. So our companies are also benefiting from the activities of our institutional operators. So it is a great pleasure for me now to call to the podium the representative of Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, CIMIST, SACE, and Mrs. Valerio, who will illustrate the main initiatives that have been scheduled for 2026. Franciosi, you have the floor. Cassa Depositi e Prestiti. Good evening. It is a great pleasure for me to represent here today Cassa Depositi e Prestiti on this occasion dedicated to export of Italian products and activities in 2026. CDP is a financial institution for promotion and development together with the Italian government to support the international growth of Italian businesses in tight coordination with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, the diplomatic channels, and SIME, SACE, an Italian trade agency. In 2026, we will base our activity on three corners. First of all, access to financial instruments for export and internationalization. CDP stands with Italian corporates to fund major buyers and the expansion in the markets of businesses, so with the long-term investments of our corporate businesses. And 13 billion euros have been invested in 2022, 2025. In 2025, 2027, we have increased our activities, so we will lower the threshold of the turnover to have access to our financial instruments, trying to reach out to SMEs. So this means including a larger number of businesses and export-oriented businesses. Now, of course, we need to illustrate to SMEs what are the instruments that can be used, trying to support them in their activities in foreign markets. So this is why in 2026 we will be present in all business forums that have been mentioned by Tajani. The second point is the creation promotion of business opportunities. GDP works with major international investors, sovereign states, and to develop co-funding initiatives in Italy and abroad with important knock-on effects for our businesses. And this goes along the lines of the upcoming roadshow that we will be having in the Gulf areas to facilitate dialogue with other operators. And then in 2026, we will be operating in 25 strategic countries in line with the export plan of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, facilitating the matching between the Italian products and the international market with high potential markets and so-called mature markets. On top of this digital area, in 2026, it will be operating in major trade fairs. So let me first of all welcome the representatives of the trade fairs here today. Trade fairs do represent a catalyzer of opportunities. And then the third point is funding the development. In 2024, 4.7 billion euros have been used with a major focus on Africa in line with the Mattei plan, wherein we have used 50% of resources which have been dedicated in this sector, but also in other areas such as Central Asia, ASEAN, and Latin America. These activities are not only for sustainable development, but also for new business opportunities for our international companies. We have created a new station on the business matching platform to create opportunities stemming from these funding activities. And on top of this, Cassa Depositi e Prestiti is also increasing its presence, opening up new offices, two offices in Africa, one in Nairobi, and another one in Abidjan in Ivory Coast, to reach out to these communities. So GDP will be fully participating in 2026 Diplomacy for the Growth strategy plan, and because we really want to to increase the presence of Made in Italy abroad, also with new initiatives such as the India, Middle East, Europe corridor. This is a strategic opportunity to increase the role of Italy as an industrial, logistic, and financial platform, leveraging on our presence along this corridor. Thank you for your kind attention.
Diamo la parola.
Thank you. We now leave the floor to Marco Cantalamessa, Head of Strategy and Sustainable Innovation at CMIST. Good afternoon. I too would like to thank the Minister and the Director General, Mr. Batocchi, and I greet everyone in attendance. I would like to go back to the very focus of this meeting. CMIST has always supported a constant dialogue with the trade fair sectors and all the stakeholders of the sector itself through a number of measures that aim to support demand and supply. So during the COVID pandemic, we supported trade fair associations through specific funding, because this sector can truly give momentum to Italian export. So we always try to support the organizers of international events, and concurrently we have always offered among our financial services some tools that aim to help Italian companies that want to take part in these trade fairs, because these trade fairs are the most concrete business meeting. So we offer a number of financial tools that support the internationalization of Italian companies, and this may also be used by all stakeholders of the sector. In 2026, we will confirm our ability to innovate through these tools that are coordinated with the Foreign Affairs Ministry through an array of services that help the entire internationalization process, so special funding, export credit, and more. Recently, we have strongly renovated this offer through tools that can be adjusted and tailored based on the needs of the companies that want to take part in these trade fairs, through innovations that concern specific conditions envisaged by our services, such as export credit in strategic markets. So we have devised some targeted measures, for example, some regions such as the Balkans or the African continent, special funding and export credit for Latin America, and lastly, the more recent one was about India. And this is and we have a 2026 measure for the United States. So on the 14th of January, we launched a specific measure for special funding, ensuring specific beneficial conditions for companies that want to invest in the United States. So these conditions include a 10% non-refundable loan and the possibility of paying back the loan by spreading it out more and more in installments that are spread out more and more. So 2026 begins with this with this new element, so special funding and specific flexible conditions for enterprises that want to go international, especially in the United States. So this is the first innovation step that we want to give to enterprises that want to go international. As the colleague from Cassa Depositi e Prestiti said, this will a process that will carry on. We started back in 2023 working with the Foreign Affairs Ministry. We have identified some priority areas for CMIS, so Egypt, India, Vietnam, and after Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, That's an office we opened during the business forum that was mentioned several times. We will soon be opening an office in the United States. So we have special measures, funding measures for the United States, plus a bureau that will be physically there to help companies gain access to this market, which, may I remind you, is the main commercial partner of the EU. So we work with the Foreign Affairs Ministry and other stakeholders in order to further develop the offer of tailored tools that can reflect the changing situation and changing Italian companies through a process that involves opening new offices abroad. Thank you very much. Now we move on to SACE with Ms. Paola Valerio.
Good afternoon. I would like to welcome Bartocchi, the ambassadors, and all the participants here today, and heartfelt thanks to the organizers for participating at this event. SACE is the Italian export credit company, and its goal is to increase export. In other words, this means not only to increase the export quotas, but also the number of Italian exporting companies, because the companies become more resilient by exporting their products. We do this through a portfolio of instruments to support companies in the internationalization process, and through the guarantees offered by the Ministry of Finance, we come up with a financial package of financial instruments. In 2025, we have been the first agency for in terms of export credit at a global level, and the budget has allotted 74 billion euros in terms of support, both for the medium and long-term projects. So what are our strategies for 2026? In recent months, we have done this roadshow involving 7 Italian cities and Dubai. In these roadshows, we have interviewed 400 plus companies to understand their requirements, what are the financial instruments they expect from us, from SACE and from other institutions. Now, the results of this roadshow have then turned into the strategic guidelines for 2026. First of all, supporting the supply chain, which has to reach out to new counterparties, to new international markets, and to support SMEs. So we have to increase access to export of the supply chain. With the SACE, we come up with business matching opportunities initiatives that we have with each Italian trade agencies, CMEST, chambers of commerce, and with the diplomatic channels of the Foreign Affairs Ministry. So we want to act as a bridge with export credits from SACE, the SMEs with major international foreign buyers, and they couldn't have done it otherwise. And so we try to create the conditions so that these companies may fall in the list of the buyers, of these international buyers. And then we want to diversify export. So we want to create the preconditions for increased competitiveness of our companies' international markets. 44% of exporting companies export towards one single market. This makes they become more vulnerable to crisis situations. So by listening to their requirements and by approaching other foreign markets, we make it so that our companies can diversify their exporting portfolio. And then let me also mention our willingness to develop our synergies, the efforts with all the operators in the system along the guidelines which are being defined by the national plan and also along the lines of the Mattei plan. Let me mention that in the upcoming weeks we will have the second edition of the Africa Champion Program, and the goal here is to make Italian companies more aware of the potential of African countries. Let me close by mentioning we have 11 national offices in Italy and 13 offices abroad, scattered around the globe, only in those areas which have the highest potential. And the goal here is to host Italian companies and their foreign counterparts to create new opportunities. Thank you.
I would very much like to thank our speakers, who, by the way, are our major partners in economic growth, CDP, SACE, CEMIST. I would like to thank all the representatives of the trade fair associations. Their contribution is fundamental, and they encourage us to put even more enthusiasm and energy in the year that lies ahead. I thank you for your interesting presentations. I thank everyone in attendance. And aside from the people in attendance, there were 1,200 people remotely connected from abroad, embassies, foreign embassies here in Rome, Italian embassies abroad, and Italian trade agency offices. Thank you once again. Have a good evening.